we're going to begin our reading lesson for today. Students are showing focused attention. That means your eyes, your ears, and your brain are on the learning, and you are worried about getting the learning in your head today. That is what I hope for you. We're going to learn so much. Let's get started.
Today, our skill will be apply background knowledge and use surrounding words to determine the meaning of an unknown word or phrase. Today, as we use this skill, we will look at a text and we will try to figure out the meaning of an unknown word. We can use our background knowledge, we can use pictures, or we can use other words that surround it to help us determine the meaning.
All right, we're going to keep going here. We have different kinds of context clues. We know we've been learning about these different kinds. And a lot of times what we see in a text, most of the time we see synonym clues where they give us another word that means about the same. And they give examples of what the word is like. Today we're going to keep practicing context clues as we learn about more about our state and how it became our community.
Hi, third grade, this is Mrs. Renelay. Yesterday we saw this text in our lesson, and this text was all about how people in America started moving west after the 13 colonies were established. We learned that this land in the West was called the Northwest Territory. The Northwest Territory became what is now states like Indiana and the surrounding states. This text tells us it included lands that are now the states of Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and part of Minnesota. The next video we're going to watch will talk about what happened when Indiana became a state. And today our text is going to focus on how Indiana became a state and how this impacted the people that were here and the Native Americans.
All right, we are going to go into a breakout room and talk about our knowledge from yesterday. This is a text from yesterday that we looked at, and it described what happened when people in the colonies moved west and they got more land. That was called the Northwest Territory. When you go to your breakout room, I want you to talk with your partner and listen. You're going to talk about, what do you remember from yesterday's text? What do you remember about the colonists getting more land called the Northwest Territory? In our breakout rooms, we talked about how the colonists moved to this country. They started building their own community called colonies. And then after some time, they started moving west and they got more land. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about what happened to Native Americans when the colonists moved west and got more land. Today, we're going to watch a new video and we're going to talk more about our community called Indiana. That's the name of our state. So we're going to focus our attention. We're going to listen to the video and be ready to share your thoughts about what you understand. We're going to go into a breakout room after we watch the video.
Okay, here.
I'm sorry, boys and girls. Let me start it over.
I cannot hear
farmers carved the Indiana Territory out of the
larger Northwest Territory while preparing to grant statehood to an area known as Ohio. Before long, residents of the Indiana Territory wanted statehood for their own stomping grounds. And that's the subject of this month's In History. When Jonathan Jennings became the Indiana Territory's representative to Congress in 1812, he immediately introduced legislation to grant Indiana statehood. The War of 1812 erupted, however, and sidelined his effort. 4 years later, the Indiana Territorial Legislature got the ball rolling again with a census to determine whether the territory's population was large enough to meet legal standards for statehood. The effort yielded a count of 63,897 individuals, proving the territory's eligibility. Having cleared this hurdle, organizers held a constitutional convention in June of 1816 in Cornwall. On many days, the sweltering heat of summer forced delegates outside the stuffy territorial capital, where they worked instead beneath the shade of the giant elm tree. These men created the state's first constitution on June 29, 1816. The state's first elections were held in August that same year, and the Hoosiers elected Jennings as the state's first governor. Be sure to join us in celebrating Indiana's bicentennial.
Okay, so we have heard a little bit about when Indiana became a state, and we know that after the Northwest Territory became part of the land with the colonists, they got states, they got our area, right? We belong in Indiana, and we know that the surrounding states were also in the Northwest Territory. So we're going to go into our breakout room and talk about one thing that you heard in the video. To find our task today, click on Activities, Assign to Class folder, Red ELA. Our task is called Context Clues, the Indiana Territory. When you open your task on slide 1, you will see a reminder that today we are practicing using context clues to help us determine the meaning of unknown words. On slide 2, you have your text for today. Our text is all about the Indiana Territory. We know that Indiana was in the Northwest Territory. So what happened? How did the colonists gain Indiana as a part of America? Today we're going to learn more about that as we study the Indiana Territory. Our first job today is to read our text independently. As a class right now, we're going to share out something you read or something you talked about from our text today that's really important. I already see one friend who's ready to teach the class. That's awesome. Kaylee Cole, go ahead.
In the 1880s, Congress divided the Northwest
Territory.
Territory, but it combined the land territories.
Okay, thanks, Kaylee. So after they gained the Northwest Territory, they started dividing it. Day, what did you read or talk about that the whole class needs to hear?
The war in 1814.
There were some wars, right? We talked about this yesterday. When the colonists moved west to settle there, Native Americans already lived there. So there were wars, there were conflicts. And in our text today, we learned about a new war that was happening, right? So sometimes Native Americans won, sometimes the colonists won. Landon, what did you read in our text or talk about that's so important?
In 1813, Harrison led American soldiers to victory in the battle.
So we see some American colonists are starting to win some battles. I see that too in the text. And that was a really important war because it happened around our community area. Any other thoughts from our text or our conversation and breakout rooms? Okay, it looks like we have shared out enough. Let's go ahead and talk about what our task is today. Today we're going to continue practicing with context clues. We're going to watch this video to see what is our task today. Students are focused and listening.
Your task today is going to be reading about the Indiana Territory as it was trying to become a state. We're going to practice using context clues to help us determine the meaning of unknown words. You will be given a word from our text today. You need to determine the meaning and type the meaning, and then explain what clues helped you determine the meaning of the word.
Awesome. All right, let's talk about what that looks like. In our task today, you have on slide 3, you have 3 words from our text that you may not know. You might have some background knowledge about what they mean, but there are 3 words here that you need to define today. I am seeing some students who are writing things like the text. That's not a context clue. Your job is to tell me what clues in the text helped you. Was it a picture that helped you? If the text helped you, you need to tell me what words. It is not 3rd grade work to tell me I saw it in the text. I know that you're getting your information from the text. Today, I'm going to be sending back work if students are not telling me exactly what clues helped you. We have done a really good job saying what we think the word means. We've done an awesome job doing that, but today I need everybody really focusing on these parts. What words in the text helped you? Writing that the text said it is not a context clue. I will not accept that work today. I see a question or comment from Kaylee. Go ahead.
Can I go use it?
Our lesson is almost over. You may wait just a minute. Are there other questions about what I mean by saying you need to say what clues helped you? Okay, I don't see any questions. Your job today is to complete slide 3. And then on slide 4, you have something to share. It says, share one thing you learned about our Indiana state today. Your job today is to complete slides 3 and 4, and then reflect on your learning. Ashley, I see you have a question. Go ahead.
So is it like yesterday that we have to pick a word that we don't know and we have to like find it?
Just like yesterday, yes. Here are the words from the text. This word is red. So it's red right here in the text. Okay, you can match the color to the word to help you.
So does that mean we can just pick one?
No, you need to do all of page 3 and all of page 4 today. Good question. Okay, it is now going to be your work time. You can take a quick break before you begin, and then you need to finish reading your text, finding your context. Don't forget, today we're really focused on what clues helped you. And then you will share one thing you learned about our state today.